Okay.
So I'm delighted to be here with you today, Beatrix, and want to thank you on behalf of us all in the relational change community for agreeing to talk to us about climate change, which I know is one of your passions and interests. And I wanted to start really by just asking you, why is this topic of climate change so important to you?
All right. Thank you, Sally, for inviting me, and I'm very honored to be here with you and to speak on this occasion about something that is so close to my heart. Climate change, for me personally, is a question of ethical responsibility towards the planet, towards humans, towards all species. And it is an ethical responsibility for me towards the generations to come. So if we don't act immediately, and I think this weekend is the weekend where the World Climate Summit is starting in your country, in Glasgow, in the UK. Yes. And I really do hope that they take decisions that really are supporting the many ideas that are already there, the practical implications of what can be done. Because I think if we don't act immediately, the prospects for the following generations look rather grim. They are grim already for us. If we look around us, we saw it last summer in the heart of Europe. There were floodings. It was in our neighboring country in Germany, but also here in Austria, in Czech Republic, there were tornadoes. So it is coming quite close. We cannot put it away anymore and say it's only happening to the others. But it is happening right here in an area where we felt for a long time rather safe, I would say. Knowing all of that, what is happening around the world, but just acting as if it would not concern us. And I think this is a moment that changes, and it is necessary to have radical change on this. And if I may say, for me, this all starts or ends up, depending on from where you're looking, from a patriarchal and colonial system that is exploiting everything without considering the impacts on other species, human or not human. And I think this has to change radically, otherwise we will lose everything we have.
What a powerful statement, Beatrix. I'm just resonating with that in my body, because you're locating this ethical responsibility for all of us. We're all implicated,
Yes.
and I guess some of us more than others in a way for what we might have done. And I wanted to ask you, you talked a lot in that introduction about actions and the need for immediate and radical action. I wondered if you could give us some ideas of what's in your mind when you think about actions that you personally might take, but also policy or actions that you hope others might take.
Yeah, so the one thing that I already mentioned is the World Climate Summit. So there is really world policy that is called to take action on many ideas that are already there. This is the one thing. But when you're asking what can we do, relational practitioners do, this is, I think, when I'm locating this to each individual, it's also empowering each individual to do something to support to put the climate change on hold, or to at least not add to more of that. And I think the most important thing is to raise the awareness, our own awareness, but also the awareness of the other. And this might be individually or organizational. It might be individual in families as well, and to really think about, to reconsider one's own lifestyle and to reconsider what is actually needed. What do I really need? And what do I do just because it's available, it's here, it's easy, it's there, so let's use it. And I think that in particular, our generation has used a lot of resources without even thinking about what that how that might impact somebody else far away in this world, not very close to us. So what I think it is, the first step is reconsidering one's own lifestyle. What do I use? How do I travel? All the small steps that are to be taken. Where do I go? If I travel, how do I travel? To what kind of accommodation do I go? Are they having a statement on their website, for example, about sustainability? What kind of products do they use, and so on and so on. This is what I can do personally. And also, I think what is needed is to move out of one's own personal comfort zone and to maybe do something a little bit different that might be really not as comfortable as we used to do things, but still to have a feeling of I contributed something better. So I think it's a personal responsibility also here in taking actions. And of course, going to one's own communities and communicate this and find allies to do projects together in our communities where we are living. So I know you are very much for gardening, and you told us that you are doing a project where you're living as well. And I think these are all small steps. They might sound very small, but I think they are adding to the big effort of finding a better way to live together, actually, globally, than it is now. And I want to give one personal, and also it's a political example as well. What one can do, what is done here now, what I observe here is that e-cars, electricity-driven cars, are the big shot now. And I think that can be, that might be a good idea, but if somebody is going for the big electric cars who have big batteries and doesn't think about how these are sourced in the countries where the raw materials are to be found, and what kind of environmental disaster is left there. To drive electric cars in Europe, where people can afford electric cars and can afford big cars, it is not a good thing to do. So what I want to say is it's not so easy what to do. It's a very complex issue. And we have to take into consideration that all our actions are having an impact somewhere.
Yes.
If we are producing here in Europe the electric cars, there are big plants now to be built. They are sealing the ground. So even more ground is sealed to produce these cars to be carbon neutral. Yes, that's a good thing on the one hand, but not on the other one. So it is, I think it's also to raise the awareness of the interconnectedness of all of these actions. And what we did in EHET, we did a climate statement, which I'm very happy with. And I think it's a small and a good example of what we can do as community of Gestalt therapists, Gestalt practitioners, relational practitioners, however, to reconsider how we are organizing meetings, conferences, again, what kind of venues do we choose, how do they source the products that they are using, and so on. So I think this climate statement is an example that everybody can do actually in his or her environment, in the group where she is. I don't know, in the gym that she or he is using or that they are using, everything. I think it is about raising the awareness and taking action in small steps. And by having this awareness, it is possible to think about, do I buy this product or that one? And what is the difference?
Gosh, you've given us a lot to think about. And one of the last things that I'd like to say is, as I was listening to you, I was thinking that so often in our communities, maybe of relational practitioners, there's an emphasis on the face-to-face meetings, you know. And as you were talking, I was thinking, you know, I live on an island, and I'm very used to flying or driving or traveling to places where my colleagues are and where I practice. And I guess what I'm hearing you say is that may not be always the best option, you know, to really explore these other options, because it's
Yes.
so deep in my mind that face-to-face will be preferred.
Of course, it is to be preferred, because nothing is more rewarding than to be in the presence of each other. I know that, and I appreciate that a lot. But I think we can choose to do it one time, let's say online, and another time in presence. We have to develop options. And like you're saying, are you driving or flying? Maybe there is an option to take a train. And this is moving out of the comfort zone. And
Yes.
it's not, I don't know it better or want to tell somebody, because these are all questions that are concerning myself as well. And I'm considering this when I'm going to places. How do I go there? Yeah.
Thank you so much, Beatrix. You've given us lots to think about. And once again, thank you on behalf of us all.